All right, you guys, I'm gonna shoot an amazing video tonight. I can't wait for you guys to hear my story. My first question for the day: what show am I watching lately? I watched lately in the past month. I watched Russian Doll season 1 and some of season 2. Season 2 was kind of trash. I ain't gonna lie, it was not good. Season 1 was good. That's what got me hooked. I watched Stranger Things with my son, and I watched what else? Oh, The Doctor. It's this show on Netflix about this guy that he impregnated the whole town. It was nuts. It was only 2 episodes. It was a short series, but it was really good. And what else? That's it. I like Stranger Things a lot. My favorite season was season 1 and 2. I didn't like season 4 that much. All right, I wanted to talk about an experience that I had, and this is kind of like a continuation of Roe versus Wade, kind of, but I didn't have to do that this time. But I wanted to discuss an abusive relationship that I was in a few years ago. It's all in the past now. This person is not even a part of my life at all. It really doesn't matter, but I wanted to get that off my chest, and this is a lot of the reason why I am the way I am today. I'm not combative. I don't fight at all. I don't hit people. I barely like to argue. I don't even if somebody is coming at me aggressive, I just leave. I don't like to fight. But a few years ago, I was in an abusive relationship with this guy that was really poor. He was broke. First time I went out with him, 6 years ago, on the 4th of July, I remember like it was yesterday, and we went to see The Conjuring 2. And I paid, of course, and then he asked me for $200 at the end. I gave it to him. I was always giving this boy money. He was really poor. He was broke. It was always a story. I was with him for 4.5 years after this. And I always told him, I will never be faithful to you, so there was no surprise. But then after the second year, he started getting violent with me. He started hitting me, punching me. One time he beat me so bad that I was actually injured and I couldn't go to work. And I had to go to work. I don't have generational wealth. I don't got that. I got to work. So I couldn't go to work for a month. I was injured badly. And then it didn't stop. I had to get a police report on him. He choked me once. I had strangulation marks all over my neck. He had to go to jail for that. And he was an alcoholic. He had alcoholism really bad, really bad, to the point where he couldn't even walk or do regular stuff. He couldn't work. There was no job. All he did was take money out of my purse. And if I didn't give him the money, because I can't take care of no grown man. I have a child. An able-bodied man with picture perfect health. The only thing wrong with him is his addiction. I can't do it. He would shake like this all the time, and at one point it got so bad that he was urinating on himself while he was wide awake. He was stink. At this point, we had no affection, no intimacy, nothing, right? So one day he tried to R-word me. Y'all call it SA, and I remember we was in the room. I fly kicked him. I had both me and him weigh the same thing. He's skinny, I fly kicked him, put both of my feet in his chest, and I kicked him as strong as I could. He flew, he hit the wall, and I said, oh my God, I thought he was dead. He wasn't moving. So then I walked over to him, right? And he was still breathing, his pulse was still going. So I just grabbed my stuff and I walked out. I took an Uber and I left. And then he was having seizures a lot. I told you he was an alcoholic really bad. He was shaking, urinating on himself, not making any sense. I was always worried, or not so much worried, but I always thought he was going to pick the wrong person to mess with one day and they was going to injure him badly. So I just was while he was having his seizures, one time I asked if I could call an ambulance for him, and he said no. So anytime he'd have a seizure, I'd just sit there and look at him. And one day, that same day that I kicked him, his I don't know what happened next, but I blocked him. I didn't want to in my life at all. I broke up with him. I told him I'm done with you. And a few days later, after I was ignoring him, his father's girlfriend calls me and she's like, "Oh, your boyfriend, in case I know you want to know, he's in a hospital. He's in a coma." And I'm like, "A coma for what?" And then she was like, "Oh, he had a seizure on the floor and he was just rolling around on the floor and we called him an ambulance." And I was like, "What?" I said, "I knew he was having seizures, but I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know he was in a coma." I knew eventually he was going to like kill himself. I don't know what drugs he was using or if he was using any, because I've never known him to use drugs. I've never seen him do anything but smoke weed, you know. But if he went out and took some drugs because I broke up with him, because clearly he didn't tell them that we broke up. So they're thinking that we're still together and that I care. I was, at this point, I was like, I'm not going to visit him in the hospital because it's not my responsibility. That's between him and his parents at this point. I don't care. And if he didn't tell them that we broke up, then oh well. But then a couple of days later, his mama called me, and he didn't tell her that we broke up either. His mom she lives upstate, like far upstate, like 8 hours away. So she wasn't coming, but she called me and she was talking to me about how he's doing. I said, "Oh wow, maybe me breaking up with him like affected him to where he felt like he needed to either commit suicide or he took a bunch of drugs, you know, I don't know." But that's what he did. Took a lot of drugs, I think. The nurses asked me, I said, "I don't know. I wasn't there." But at this point, I really didn't care. But I felt a little bit bad because I thought that when he wakes up, he's either going to say that when he tried to R-word me, it never happened, or he was going to either say that, or he was just going to play dumb, or if he forgot, because he was in a coma for quite a long time. He was in a coma for like 6 weeks. I think longer than that, because when he went into the coma, it was still like hot. It was summertime. It was August. And he came out of that coma when he was still in the hospital. It was after the presidential election when we were trying to see if Donald Trump or Joe Biden won. So he was out for a while. So I was not getting back together with him at this point. I was done. And I'd already moved forward. I didn't want him at all. I didn't even want to hear how he was doing or nothing. To this day, I do not want nothing to do with this person. But that was my story of abuse. And during that whole time, like, I was, you know, beaten by this person multiple times. Like, and I'm not a fighter. Like, I can't hit for shit. But if I was to hit somebody, if I felt like we were in a relationship where we need to be hitting each other, that's a relationship that I do not need to be in. Like, I'd rather just be single, especially from somebody that has to steal money out my purse. Like, that's something strange. And then, like, if I didn't have money for him, he'd just be like, "Oh, you're a bum." I'm like, seriously, boy? Yeah, but that's my story of abuse. All right, comment, like, and subscribe, and make sure you watch my next videos, because tomorrow I got a good one too. Bye.